welcome to the Crypt of Wax. Today we are talking Clairvoyance, Chasm of the Immurement, or just Chasm of Immurement. I'm surprised there wasn't a band called Clairvoyance already. That seems
There
surprising
must have
because
been at some point, right?
yeah, there must have been because it seems like that kind of name. But yeah, this is a debut from Polish death metal
Polish
outfit,
band.
Clairvoyance. Death metal. They it says Death Doom somewhere online. I mean, I guess there is a bit of kind of Death Doom element, but on the whole, I guess say it's more of a kind of like a death metal record.
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking, listening to this, it's got a little bit of that kind of bestial kind of
Yeah,
influence, that kind of war metal kind of thing, but a bit cleaner. Like production wise and stuff. It's not as quite as extreme and kind of
raw.
raw. Yeah, but it parts of it remind me of some of those sort of bands.
Yeah, I think the because there was a real like oppressive atmosphere with this.
Yeah,
I think that's probably where that kind of bestial war metal is kind of coming in, especially with its guitar tones. And there was kind of like a layer of reverb just overarching everything, like drums, vocal,
yeah.
maybe even guitar, which kind of gave that feeling. Kind of nodded towards old school death metal as well in that sense, but it was a lot more clear and modern, but without sounding overproduced. I think they nailed it, to be honest, the production.
I'm going to say something that John says every week, but me and John don't really talk about musically these albums up until we do the show. But one thing you did say to me about this one is that you commented on how much you like the artwork on this. I thought
Yeah,
maybe we'll talk about it because you liked it a lot.
man, the artwork was amazing for this. It has a real old school, or maybe almost like a Altars of Madness
I was about to say, yeah,
feel.
yeah, yeah,
It's got like that kind of spherical spiral thing going on, but like
yeah,
there's so much detail in it, man. There's like bodies everywhere and like graves and whatnot, and it just
yeah,
the color palette is amazing as well.
yeah, yeah. It's cool,
Um,
man. Really good.
Yeah, really conjures up an image, and also just gives it a kind of iconic feel. Like immediately, it gives it like a. It doesn't feel like a debut, does it? This.
No, you're right. It's got that. It's got that feeling of it being released by maybe a more legendary band. If you know what I mean,
Yeah,
a longer. Not saying you know what I mean. That these are new guys, but it's got that sort of feel to it.
yeah, for sure. And what a debut it is, man. I guess straight off the bat,
Yeah, what did you
like Mike
think?
said. Well, like Mike said, we don't talk about this off air, so this is the first
So
time that
John
we know.
say it again.
I, yeah.
Can't help himself. He has to say it fucking. I can't say it without John having to say it again.
Got to pack out the minutes on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I loved this, man. I thought this was like death metal done right. And this, like, not jumping the gun, but I mean, it's going to be in the album of the year list for me. I think.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love this record.
I thought it was great, man. Really, really good. It was just one of those. You know, when you just listen to an album like this and it's so solid all the way through. The standard's fantastic. It, it's one of those albums where it's hard to pick a favorite because I feel like everything was on the same sort of level. It had a really, really nice mix of paces throughout.
Yeah,
They never. It wasn't like one of those bands where they had to like stick on the blast, to, like you know, keep the pace and keep the intensity. They were mixing up. They were slowing it down. They were going for more mid-pace parts as well. I also love it when death metal bands do lots of like pick slides into riffs,
yeah.
and they do that on here as well, which I it kind of elevates this sort of sound for me.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like you said, man, they were shifting paces left, right, and center, and it was like it was done to perfection. It was you were never just left on one section for too long. But
No,
they also had that same mentality when it came to riffs. Like they were just blasting through riffs and
yeah,
ideas, but they never felt tacked on or like chopped up. It was almost very progressive in that sense, but without being prog metal, everything just flowed effortlessly.
yeah, yeah. It was great, man.
Uh,
Really good.
yeah, yeah,
It's really. I mean, we've done quite a lot of death metal this year,
yeah.
and there's been some really good albums as well. I mean, you think about it, I'm now wondering how it compares to you for say something. When we did, was it Mortual the other week?
Mortual, yeah. I mean, they're very similar, like for me in terms of how great they are, and they're
Yeah,
both debuts, aren't they? As well,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is
But they're quite
like,
different from one another as well
yeah,
in that
they
sort of
are, they
sphere. Yeah,
are, they are. But in terms of how much I enjoyed them, I'd put them on a par, man. Like, I
same.
think death metal's in a good place right now.
Yeah.
there's a lot going on, and like this, if this is the level that is being produced, it's quite outstanding. I guess yeah, going straight into it, they go straight into it, don't they? Track
Yeah.
one, Eternal, no messing, straight in. Sludgy death metal riffs. There's like riffs just happening left, right, and center, going through. Then they introduced these kind of like real, almost like beat downy section. It was like around 2:30. It was really chuggy and like sludgy, but it was just really, it reminded me of like beatdown music, but I really enjoyed that essence.
I mean, this album's it's kind of like full of that sort of head banging moments. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like, it's you can't help but enjoy yourself listening to this because it's just it just I kind of put that I feel it hits all those right notes of death metal that you want to hear
Yeah.
in a band. Um, there was some really cool parts in track one. There was one bit. I think it was about what did I put? Yeah, it was about 3 minutes. It's a slow riff, and it starts on the bass guitar, and then
Yes.
the band kick in, and that bit was awesome.
They have
And
these kind
actually,
of like
even
wrung
yeah,
out
sorry,
chords, don't they? But then they
yeah,
sort of interject moments of blast within that,
yeah,
which
yeah,
really
yeah,
was,
yeah.
it was great.
But even going back to the beginning of this song, and you said they go straight into it. I love it when an album because I'm not all. I think I've said before, I'm not really into like long intros on albums. So, I mean, sometimes it works and other times it doesn't. But on here, I love it when a band just like does like a drum fill to go in.
Yeah. That
And
was like that mortual, wasn't it? They just had that
yeah,
that
yeah,
vibe.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I love that when bands do that.
No nonsense. I can take or leave an intro. Like sometimes it has to be shortish. Like when it's a whole track, then sometimes they
I
get
feel,
skipped,
do you know
but
what? I feel like I hear a lot of that as well. Is it mainly a lot in
yeah.
black metal?
A whole album, yeah, a whole track
A
intro,
whole
like
track, yeah.
around 2 minutes, isn't it? That they seem to do, and it's just like, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I feel, particularly in death metal, I just want to hear it go straight into that riff. You know?
Well, that's what they did with this, and then they did exactly the same again with "Hymn of the Befouled" track two. This was probably my standout song. I thought this song was amazing, man. The opening riff was incredible. Then you had this kind of like lead line that came in.
It's like reverb drenched kind of solo, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they went to this kind of, it was just like a quite a caveman-esque riff.
Mm,
There was elements of bolt thrower throughout this, wasn't there?
yeah,
I thought,
yeah,
um, which I know you're a kind of big fan on.
yeah.
Um,
And yourself.
but yeah, 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 for sure. But it's just like, I guess, speaking about that kind of death metal album we covered last week, where it was the wet ooze filled death metal. This is very different to that, isn't it? But you also love the kind of like this kind of style.
Yeah, absolutely. It hasn't got that kind of that sort of putridy kind of death metal vibe, but it's got that intensity sort of thing,
It's
hasn't
got
it?
it's got an atmosphere, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
it's hard to it's hard to pinpoint where the atmosphere is. It's a very like just bleak atmosphere, but without being like turgid and putrid. But yeah, man, I thought track two, "Hymn of the Befouled," was probably my standout. There was like a lead line at about 1 minute 45. It was like really quite spacey and atmospheric. I kind of wish it went on to longer, but you know, this band they just kind of whizzed through ideas and
Well, I think actually that's probably a lot of their style is doing that kind of you get that death metal that's like a bit kind of the way Blood Incantation is, sort of space sort of themed. I'm not saying that they're fully down that way, but it's lending itself more into that realm than the kind of swampy kind of
yeah.
death metal, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Then you had track three, Flesh Machine, which was a real. I
Good
guess this is
title.
where the kind of yeah, great title. Be a good band name. Um, where the Doom influence sort of came
Mm.
in. The intro to this was real Death Doom. It was really slow, really groovy. Then you had a main riff that sort of kicked in, and they upped the tempo, which but they were still offering that groove, which was quite nice to hear.
Well, that was the kind
Um,
of bolt thrower bit to it, right? The
yeah,
way
real
they
bolt
put the
thrower that
groove
bit.
in that to it, yeah.
Then one thing that I like about this band is they're not scared to do something very simple. Like there was a riff in here that was it was quite filler, but it was so short and it was transitional that it sort of elevated the riff that followed it, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, man, and then again another bolt thrower reference later in the song, like everything sort of drops out, and you've got this kind of like bolt thrower type break. I feel like this song was probably the most bolt thrower worship
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
out of all of it, to be fair, which is why maybe it was my second favorite song. But yeah, and then the last section was like really driving. It was almost hypnotic. I feel like again I could have listened to it on repeat, that section, and got lost in that kind of trance like feel, but they just they just kind of cut it short, and it made you be like, shit, I want to hear that again.
Yeah, which is always a good thing, right?
Always a good thing.
Didn't
Did you ever
overstay.
stand up? Did you ever
Yeah,
stand up song?
actually, I did. Mine was Reign of Silence, which
Oh,
was
track
the one
4.
afterwards.
Yeah, that again, it leaned heavily on that kind of caveman beat, didn't it?
Yeah,
Throughout that song, which was really cool.
yeah. That's all. I always gravitate towards that when death metal bands use that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's so impactful, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's great when you're mixing it in with, like, they'll do blast beats or something, and then they'll go into that sort of primitive caveman riff for a part of it, then change up. It often, I always find those sections often quite short. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, I think if it was long, you'd lose the impactfulness of it.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they work so well as like a few bars before going into something else. As you said, almost like a transitional kind of section.
Yeah, yeah. Again, and then yeah, track 5, Blood Divine. Again, out the 100 miles out the blocks. Really, really, really cool song. Had this kind of sludgy, chuggy switch up around 2:30, which I thought was really cool. And then there was a really like discordant lead line. Well, slightly discordant towards the end. It sort of saw out the song, and then goes into the final track, Monument to Dread, which was one of the longest songs, was it, on the album, I
Yeah, it's
believe?
about 7 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, but again, just like went through so many different passages, but like each one was just as great as the last.
The mix up of paces on this like every song has got basically covers every sort of
Yeah.
pace you would hear in death metal.
Yeah. Well, this song sort of had all the paces of death metal, but then also had all the kind of paces of doom as well. There was almost like a bit of a funeral doom moment in
Yeah,
this. It sort of introduced like a cleaner picked out guitar over the top of it. It just felt quite funeral doom. And then it just sort of, again, they flirted with that idea and then just went straight back into like an onslaught of blasts. But it was really really well done, man.
yeah, good album, man.
Great album, great album. Any more to say on this, Michael? Wrap
No,
it up.
no, wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, John.
Yeah. All right. Listen. Go and check this album out, because it's probably going to feature in my album of the year list at the end, or top 5, maybe top 10. I don't know. I have to start thinking about that soon. But
So going top 20,
this
somewhere
top
in
20, yeah,
somewhere in the hundred.
somewhere in
I liked it. I
it.
liked it.
I loved it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, good job, Clairvoyance. If you like this video, give us a like and a subscribe. We put out videos every Wednesday and Friday. But yes, we will catch you in or on the next one,
I think
which
it's
is
on the next one. John always says
what is
in.
what's grammatically correct. Let us know
Let
in
us
the
know below.
comments.
Let us know below.
Yeah,
None of it.
catch you then. None of it. Yeah, rubbish.